got back from seeing Expendables 2, and just as I expected, it was a non-stop action film, and it's what I expect going in, and I enjoyed it for what it was. What I really liked about the Expendable films was that it doesn't try to sugarcoat shit. They really don't. I mean, you're going in to get a bloody, gory, non-stop action movie that has a nostalgia feeling from the 80s and 90s. That's what this film is. I mean, they don't go in there trying to win Oscars for best screenplay, best storytelling. That's not what The Expendables is. It's a movie that you go into, sit down for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and watch these legendary characters that we know from our childhood or our youth go in there and do what they do. And I think that is the appeal of Expendables, and that's what makes the movie so good. Now, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, if you're going into this film expecting this, to have a great screenplay, a very complex storyline with twists and turns and surprise endings, you're going to go into this theater and leave very, very sad, because that's not what this film is, not by a long shot. But if you want to go in, and just relax with your friends, family, and just watch a great action flick, that's what Expendables is. And they don't try to sugarcoat it and try to make it anything other than what it is, and that's an action flick. In this film, we see Sylvester Stallone come back, Bruce Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who has bigger roles in this one. Not the biggest roles from those two, but, they come in, they have their action moments. Chuck Norris, who also doesn't have a huge role in this film, but when he's there, it's great. It's funny. By far, I think Chuck Norris had the best moments in the whole film. When I go back and watch this on DVD, the Chuck Norris parts are my favorite parts that I'm going to like, because I really enjoyed the moments in it. I believe I was probably the youngest one in the theater, besides my wife. Everyone else was in their 50s and 60s. So I was the youngest one in the theater. This was also an early showing, so a lot of people were already at school. Plus, I think this is for the older generation anyway. It's sort of like bringing back the classic action movies. Jean-Claude Van Damme is in the film as the villain, and I have to say, and I'm not much of a Jean-Claude Van Damme fan, but he did the role well. He played a good villain, and he did what they needed him to do, and I thought that was just fine. One thing that disappointed me in the film was that Jet Li was only in the first 10 minutes, and he was no longer in the film. Don't know what the deal is with that. Will he be back for a third? If they decide to do a third, that's, yet to be seen. Neither here nor there. I haven't heard anything on that one. But, I enjoyed the film. This is not like a Michael Bay film, where Michael Bay tries to do an action film, and then he tries to give this complex story with all these twists and turns and conspiracies, and you just get a shitload of plot holes. As a matter of fact, the plot for this film is so very simple. I mean, it's just like any other action film from the 80s and early 90s was. Basically, it's revenge. They're going for revenge. Basically, Sylvester Stallone's team is hired to go in, get this thing in the safe. He goes, gets stopped by the bad guys who wants the same thing. Bad guys do something to good guys want revenge on them. I mean, the story is very, very straightforward, simple, to the point. They don't try to complicate shit, and that's what makes these movies enjoyable. I mean, like I said, this film is not going to win Oscars for best, storytelling or screenplay, and it doesn't even try to be best movie of the year. It goes out to do exactly what it set out to do. So no way would I put this movie in my top 10 for this year, by all means. And I don't think when they made this movie, they were going for that. They wanted to do it for fun. And that's what this film is about. It's about fun. It's about putting little wisecracks in there that is reference to the older movies, such as Arnold going, "I'll be back," or, you know, catchphrases like yippee-ki-yay, or, you know, Chuck Norris, some of the greatest things that Chuck Norris does. I mean, it's all about references, Easter eggs, nostalgia feeling, and non-stop action. And believe me, there is action, because I think the death count is like 500,000 by the end of this film. But overall, I mean, it's a great film. You know, not gonna spoil anything for anybody. But if you want to go watch a stupid film with a lot of action and great action stars from the 80s, 90s, then this is your film. Okay, so I give this movie a 7 out of 10. It was a great film, action-wise. Doesn't try to sugarcoat shit. Think they played the part real good. By no means is this a 10. They don't try to be. It is what it is. You know what you're going to expect from the opening credits of the movie to the end credits of the movie. And that's what Expendables is, and that's why this movie works in this generation. It's taking the best action heroes from then and now. And that's what it is. So Expendables, 7 out of 10 is what it gets. I think it's a great action flick. I will be picking it up on Blu-ray. I highly recommend that you go see it. If you have never seen an action film like Die Hard or Rambo or any of those films like Terminator or so on, then I recommend, if you're a younger audience member and you were born like in 91, 92, then go check this out, because this is what it was like back for us when I was growing up and some of the older audience watching this review.